What if I told you that your most profitable trades, the ones that feel effortless, almost magical, don't come from grinding longer hours, dissecting hundreds of charts, or watching 10 different YouTube gurus at once? They come from a place beyond conscious effort. A place known as flow. Most people think of flow as an athlete's exclusive superpower. We imagine basketball players sinking impossible shots or musicians delivering flawless performances. But flow isn't just for athletes or artists. It is for anyone, and especially traders. In trading, flow is that elusive state where every decision seems to arise naturally. Your entries and exits feel inevitable. You see opportunities forming and you don't hesitate. You don't overthink, you don't doubt, and you certainly don't sabotage yourself at the last second. Time slows down. The noise in your head fades away. Every flicker of the chart feels like a gentle nudge rather than an attack on your nerves. It feels as though you're dancing with the market rather than wrestling it. You're not fighting. You're moving with it. Let's address the hard truth. Most traders spend years in frustration, chasing the next holy grail strategy, jumping from system to system, believing that more knowledge or more indicators will finally unlock consistent profits. But here's the catch. It's never about more tools. It's about the inner environment, your mindset and emotional state. You can't experience flow if you're obsessed with being right. You fear losing more than you value executing properly. You attach your self-worth to your profits and losses. These traps create internal resistance. You hesitate. You overthink. You punish yourself after losses. And slowly you condition your mind to see trading as a battlefield, not a creative performance. One fear. Fear is the biggest enemy of flow. Fear of losing. Fear of missing out. Fear of being wrong. Fear causes your breathing to become shallow. Your hands tense up on the mouse. You hesitate before pressing the buy button. Or worse, you chase after a trade you know you should leave alone, simply because you feel you must act. When fear dominates, you're not responding to the market. You're reacting to your emotions, to an ego. Ego is the silent saboteur. It whispers, you need to win to prove your worth. It tells you that you're superior to the market, that you can outsmart price action. But the market doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care how many hours you've studied or how many followers you have. The ego demands that you be right. But trading isn't about being right. It's about managing risk and letting probabilities play out over time. 3. Attachment to outcome. When you become attached to a specific outcome, you imprison yourself mentally. You no longer see price objectively. You see it through a lens of hope and fear. Instead of asking, what is the market telling me right now? You ask, how can I make this trade work out the way I want it to? Attachment creates tunnel vision. It blinds you to evolving information and makes you hold on to losing positions for far too long. 1. Radical acceptance of uncertainty. One of the deepest shifts a trader can make is to fully accept uncertainty. Most traders say they understand risk. They set stops, they size positions properly, or so they claim. Deep down they still crave control. They want to believe they can predict what happens next. True acceptance of uncertainty means understanding that anything can happen. You can have the perfect setup and still lose money. You can have a terrible setup and get lucky once. Professional traders don't judge each individual outcome as good or bad. They judge whether they followed their plan and executed their edge. When you surrender the need to control the outcome, a weight lifts off your shoulders. You stop forcing trades. You stop micromanaging every tick. You begin to operate from a place of freedom, and flow starts to appear naturally. 2. Deep self-trust. Flow can't exist without self-trust. Imagine trying to dance with someone while constantly doubting your steps. You'd be stepping on each other's toes the whole time. In trading, self-trust means believing you'll respect your stop-loss even when it hurts. It means knowing you won't chase impulsively when FOMO strikes. How do you build self-trust? You can't fake it with affirmations or forced positivity. You build it through repeated, consistent, disciplined actions. Respecting your stop, every time. You're avoiding impulsive revenge trades, even when it's tempting. Journaling your mistakes and learning from them instead of ignoring them. Each correct action is like laying a brick in a strong foundation. Over time, this foundation allows you to act instinctively, with full confidence. And from that confidence, flow emerges. 3. Presence over prediction. Most traders live either in the past or the future. In the past. If only I had held that trade longer. I shouldn't have ignored that signal yesterday. In the future. What if this trade fails? What if this news ruins my setup? But flow only exists in the now. In this moment, this tick, this candle. When you're present, you aren't worried about your P&L. You aren't plotting future outcomes. You're simply observing. Each candle becomes neutral data. Each tick is just another clue. There's no emotional baggage attached to what might happen next. When you achieve this level of presence, your actions begin to feel automatic. You move seamlessly from observation to decision to execution without interruption. Imagine a day where you look up and hours have passed, but it felt like minutes. Your entries and exits felt natural. Your breathing was calm. You didn't hesitate. You didn't second guess. You didn't obsess over your P&L after each trade. You finish your session with a deep sense of satisfaction. Not because you won big, but because you performed at your absolute best. That's flow. It's not about perfection. It's about full alignment between your mind, body, and the market. Build a pre-market ritual. Start your trading day the same way every day. Meditation, deep breathing, visualization. Anything that calms your mind and centers your focus. Ritual creates familiarity. Familiarity reduces stress. Reduced stress opens the door to flow. Journal your state before you trade. Most traders journal after they trade, but few check in before. Ask yourself, how do I feel today? Am I anxious, overexcited, angry, or peaceful? Am I trading to express my edge or to chase a feeling? When you name your emotions before you act, you weaken their power over you. Trade only your A-plus setups. Flow thrives in simplicity. If you try to trade everything, your attention fragments. You dilute your focus. When you restrict yourself to only the highest quality setups, you increase confidence and reduce noise. You start to recognize patterns faster and react with more ease. Embrace losses as part of the game. Losses aren't mistakes. They're the cost of doing business. When you learn to view them this way, they no longer sting. You don't internalize them as failures or personal flaws. Acceptance turns losses into simple data points, rather than emotional landmines. Review executions, not just outcomes. Most traders focus on whether they won or lost. But process-oriented traders review how they executed. Did you follow your plan? Did you stick to your stop? Did you size correctly? This focus on execution rather than outcome is a critical step toward cultivating flow. It shifts your mindset from reactive to proactive. Many traders think they need to try harder to reach flow. They meditate obsessively, repeat mantras, or force themselves to feel positive. But flow doesn't respond to force. It's like holding a bar of soap too tightly, squeeze too hard and it slips away. Flow comes naturally when you stop chasing it. When you remove fear, dissolve ego, and release your attachment to outcomes, flow steps in. It's not a separate state to be hunted down. It's the natural byproduct of true psychological freedom. Ask yourself honestly, do I trade to prove something to myself or others? Do I secretly believe that more analysis means more control? Do I accept that I can't predict the future, or do I cling to forecasts to feel safe? If your answers reveal attachment, fear, or ego, you know where your real work lies. Flow isn't exclusive to trading. You can find it in sports, music, art, even deep conversations. What unites all flow experiences? Full presence, clear goals, immediate feedback, a balance between skill and challenge. In trading, the chart is your stage. The candles are your music. Your account is the audience. But the true performance is internal. You're performing for yourself. and only yourself. Once you start accessing flow, you'll notice certain habits or environments disrupt it. Examples: watching social media during trading hours, trading to make back losses from earlier in the week, arguing with family or friends just before sitting down to trade, jumping from one strategy to another mid-session. Set boundaries fiercely. Protect your mental energy as you would protect a precious asset. One of the risks of entering flow is mistaking it for invincibility. When you feel unstoppable, you might take on excessive risk. You might ignore your stops, believing you know what the market will do next. Flow is powerful, but it's still guided by discipline. Even in flow, your rules must remain intact. The difference is that following them feels natural rather than forced. Everything in trading changes the day you shift your focus from outcome to process. When you judge yourself by process, you find satisfaction even in losing days if you followed your plan. You build trust in yourself trade by trade. You create the mental space necessary for flow to arise. The paradox? The more you detach from outcome, the better your long-term outcomes become. Imagine stepping onto a tightrope above a canyon. If you focus on the rocks below, your mind panics. Your steps become wobbly. You fall. But if you focus on each step, the rope under your feet, your breathing, your balance, you move forward naturally, gracefully. Trading is no different. The market is the canyon. Each trade is a step. Look too far ahead and you freeze. Focus on the present and you flow. Every trader dreams of consistency, freedom, mastery. But few understand that these don't come from more knowledge or more tools. They come from within. The edge you're looking for isn't in a new indicator or a secret formula. It's in the ability to enter flow, to act without fear, to trust yourself deeply, and to live completely in the now. Ask yourself today, am I willing to accept uncertainty fully? Am I willing to trust myself without condition? Am I willing to let go of needing to be right and focus on executing well? Your best trades, your greatest moments, your real growth, they don't happen when you chase them. They happen when you stop chasing. They happen when you let go, when you breathe, when you trust. Flow isn't some mythical state reserved for a few lucky people. It's your natural state, waiting beneath all the noise and fear. Trade at your best. Unlock your flow state. And finally become the trader and person you were always meant to be. You don't have to force it. You don't have to fight it. All you have to do is create the space for it to emerge. In that space you'll find your freedom. In that freedom you'll find your flow. And in that flow you'll find the edge you've been searching for all along.